Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Caffeinated Chaos with Cassie, where we mostly talk fitness and books, and we just are trying to get through this chaotic ass life together, okay? Today we are talking books. I thought what better way to start 2025 in my little corner of YouTube than to recap the books I read in 2024 and rank them. I have seen like a lot of booktubers that I love doing this, and I just enjoy watching them, so I was like, why not make one? It's the perfect way to like start this year and give you a really good like peek into what I read. But also I will put a little disclaimer that I have went really heavy on the fantasy last year. I don't always read super heavy, like only fantasy, but I noticed as I went through this, like I've been on a fantasy kick, that is for sure. And I honestly don't know if that's gonna end anytime soon because there's so many really good freaking books coming out that are all fantasy. So we'll see. We're going to rank them into 5 different categories. I read 46-ish books, I believe. I feel like I might be missing one. Category 1 is going to be should have DNF'd. Category 2 is going to be I will never pick it up again, but I would totally recommend for someone else to pick it up. It just like wasn't my cup of tea. Category 3 is going to be I enjoyed it and I definitely recommend. Number 4 is going to be I absolutely loved it, but also maybe can't really tell you much besides like the major plot points in the story. And then the 5th category is going to be I will be forever a new person and changed by this book, and it altered my brain chemistry, and I literally think about these characters or this book series every single day. Before we get started, I'm going to preface this with, along with being on a fantasy kick, I entered the Sarah J Maas, I feel like I'm saying her name wrong, universe at the end of 2023, and I read my whole way through in the beginning of 2024. So it's going to be very heavy on like those books. I'm not going to be able to give you like many summaries because I read series straight through. So I will like give you a gist of the series. I don't want to give you any spoilers because I did have a lot of really good reads that I recommend that you guys should read. Starting off with January, I read A Court of Wings and Ruin, and that is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series. If you know, you know. If you don't know, it is a romantasy series that a lot of people feel like is a great gateway into the whole romantasy world. 4 stars, and I'm going to put that in category 4. Then in January, I also read A Court of Frost and Starlight, which I think that is the cutest like novella ever. Like I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people hate on it and I don't know why, because I think it is so cute. I loved it. I gave that one 5 stars, but I still put it in category 4 because as much as I really did love it, and I remember like ending it and being like, this was so freaking cute, I couldn't tell you a single thing that happens. That's all I read in January. In February, I read 4 books. So I finished the ACOTAR series, or what's released. So I read A Court of Silver Flames, and that was my number 1 of the entire series. I'm Team Cassian and Nesta 100%. Like if I could be anybody in the Sarah J Maas world, I would be Nesta. Like I love her. 5 stars. Category 5. I will forever be a new person after this one, and it definitely changed my outlook on romantasy and even romance books in general, if I'm being honest. Next, I read Twisted Love, and I rated this 3 stars, and I put it in category 2, and I know that's probably like a hot take because Book Talk loves this series. However, I don't know. I just wasn't about it. I like enjoyed it, but not enough to even continue the series. Like that's the only one I read. I didn't even continue it. Maybe that's a mistake. Convince me to continue that series in the comments, please. Because so many people are obsessed with it. And then next I read The Black Witch, which is the first book of the Black Witch Chronicles. And that series is like, I feel like maybe like Harry Potter, ACOTAR, and Fourth Wing had a baby. And that's how I would describe the Black Witch Chronicles. If you enjoyed any of those books, please read it. I mean, honestly, if you like fantasy books that aren't like super heavy on the romance, but it is there, read the Black Witch Chronicles. It is so good. It follows Lauren Gardner. You follow her going off to like university type thing, and it's like a found family book. She meets so many different people, love interests. I don't want to give anything away, but when I tell you that the final book of the series comes out this month, Amazon told me it's not shipping to me now until mid-February. I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. This series is amazing. The first book itself, I rated that a 4 stars, and I did put that in, actually I put it in category 5 because as you can tell, like, I freaking love it. I don't want to give anything away because that series is so good. Please go read it. Okay, please go read it. So I started that series, got Throne of Glass, and was like, I have to read Throne of Glass right now because I just saw Book Talk obsessed with it, and I was like, I need to know. I have to know what is in the series. Throne of Glass, rated at 4 stars. I would put it in category 4. If you don't know about Throne of Glass, I don't know. Do you live under a rock? So I'm not gonna summarize that because I feel like that's just like probably redundant at this point. So amazing series as well. I remember major plot points, okay? And like major things that happened, but I could honestly reread that series right now and probably still feel like almost reading it for the first time. That's so sad. That was it for February. Moving into March, I read through the Throne of Glass and I thoroughly was enjoying it. So we got through 5 of those books. I read the Assassin's Blade 3rd and I highly recommend. I think that's the perfect time and place for me to read it. I rated Crown of Midnight 5 stars, Assassin's Blade 4 stars, and Heir of Fire 5 stars, and put them all in category 4. I might not have read the series if I read Assassin's Blade first. I think that I had to kind of be in love with the main character before I read Assassin's Blade, and then like the emotional devastation that you get in that book, it hit in a way that like it would not have hit if I read it first. And that's just, maybe that's a hot take. Maybe that's a hot take because I know a lot of people say read it first, but 3rd, I believe 3rd, it was perfect. So Queen of Shadows, I rated that one 5 stars, category 5. Life-changing. I think about pieces of that one definitely on the daily. Empire of Storms, 5 stars, but category 4. Tower of Dawn, 4 stars. And then this is my first category 3. I really enjoyed it and I will definitely recommend it. I don't know why Cale gets so much freaking hate. I pronounce his name Cole in my head and I will forever pronounce his name Cole. Why do I think it's Cole? I don't freaking know. But when I look at that name, that's what I see. And I tried to switch it to what everyone told me it is, which I believe is Cale. I can't do it. It's not that I didn't like him. The chick, I can't even remember her name right now. That's point of view is in that a lot. Wasn't a fan of her. So that was like a drag for me. The last like 1/3 of the book, I enjoyed her point of view. And that's a thick one. Kingdom of Ash, 5 stars. I put that in category 4 too because as emotionally devastating as it is and whatnot, I think my favorite of the series is Queen of Shadows, and I just felt like that had to be like above the rest of the series if that's my favorite. It might not be fair to put Kingdom of Ash in category 4. Maybe it should have been in category 5. But we're just gonna stick with it because that was my original gut feeling. Okay. I don't know if I said Tower of Dawn started my April reading. So after that, I was like, let's skirt away from fantasy a little bit. And I read Once You're Mine. That was at 3 stars for me. And I actually put that in category 1. I should have DNF'd it. I did not enjoy it at all. That's a lie. I did enjoy it I don't know. What I think it made me realize is I like romance books that have plot, like more plot. It's also a shorter book. I think I've also discovered for myself a lot of times books that are like too short, I can't get into them because I feel like they're just like there's not enough to that. So I don't know, maybe I want to say it's Madison Kate Reads on here says like sometimes she just like read the book at the wrong time, and I think maybe that was the thing because to read that after Kingdom of Ash, it just did not hit. It did not hit. But then I read Butcher and Blackbird. Butcher and Blackbird, 5 freaking stars. I did put that in category 4 because I can tell you the general plot of that book and like 1 or 2 things I remember. I don't think about it like every day, but I loved it and I definitely ordered the next one and I want to read that after we read Fourth Wing and read the rest of that series because I have not read Iron and I have obviously not read Onyx Storm. Comes out tonight, the night that I'm recording this. I want to read Leather and Lark for sure. I know some people were like, it didn't hit the same, but I want to give it a chance. Butcher and Blackbird ends my April, so then moving into May, I got my hands on the Crescent City series and was like, let's give this a shot now. You see how I worked my way through the whole universe? May, I read all 3. I don't know how I did that. That's crazy. So House of Earth and Blood, I rated that 4 stars and I put that in category 3, okay? This is another one, Crescent City is like, I'm not gonna tell you anything about it just because like if you don't know, do you live under a freaking rock? Are you Patrick Star? How do you not know about these books? I don't know what to tell you. So anyways, House of Earth and Blood, 4 stars, category 3. I felt like the main character, Bryce, felt almost like copy and pasted of like a mix of the Throne of Glass and the ACOTAR main characters like together. And I just felt like in that book, I just wasn't her biggest fan. I also feel like at this point is when I found out some things about the author that I was like, I don't know if I necessarily love this author, but I already have the books and I want to read the series, so I'm just going to commit. So that could have tainted how I felt about that one. But then House of Sky and Breath, I rated that one 3 stars. I'm going to put that in category 2, which I feel like that pains me. And I hope when I reread it, because I do want to reread it possibly this year, I don't feel that horrible about it. But that one, I was like, do I even read the next one? I almost didn't. I almost did not read House of Flame and Shadow, but I did. And thank the Lord Jesus that I did, because that was my favorite. 5 stars. I know so many people hate on that. I don't know, my hot take. Again, maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm the weirdo. I don't know. So many people hate on that one. However, I freaking loved House of Flame and Shadow. Put in that in category 4. So we just went from one that I almost didn't continue reading the series to one that I was like, what? Like, this is so good. Why do people hate on it? I totally got the hype behind Rundanen. I was like, I get it. I get the hype now. I am on board that hype train. Okay, now I want to reread so many books. It's so sad. I have so many books that I need to read, but there's so many books I want to reread. Anyways, that ends May. Now we are on to June and I went into Does It Hurt? For some reason I like come out of fantasy and I'm like, let's go dark romance. Let's do that. Does It Hurt? 4 stars, category 4, could potentially be bumped to category 5. I do actually think about this book a good bit. I am a sucker for this one. This one is about a guy who is like a shark expert kind of dude. Like he has his own like shark sanctuary type thing. The girl and him get stuck on an island together. I don't want to give too much away, so I'm not gonna but they get stuck on an island together and there's like a lighthouse keeper on this island. I only did not rate this one 5 stars because like I kind of guessed the twist. So I was like, if I can guess it, that's not it for me. That can't be 5 stars. But it's a great book, a good book. Highly, highly recommend that one. And then I already talked about Fourth Wing, so I'm not going to go into more, but Fourth Wing is going into category 5. 4 stars. I don't know why I rated it 4 stars. I have a feeling when I reread it, it's going to be a 5-star read. I don't know why I rated it 4 stars, but definitely category 5 because I think about Fourth Wing and I think about Xaden every single day, 100%. Behind Every Lie, I would rate that one 2 stars. That was a thriller that you were like flashing back time periods, and I feel like for like a thriller, I didn't like that because I knew things that like I wish I didn't know. Like it would have made the book better if I didn't know. So I was not a fan of that one. 2 stars. I really should have DNF'd it, but it wasn't that long of a book. So category 1. And then after that, I hopped back into the Black Witch Chronicles. The second book is The Iron Flower. I rated that one 4 stars, put it in category 4. Then The Shadow Wand, I rated 4 stars, put it in category 4. That ends June. In July, I finished the books that are out for the Black Witch Chronicles because there's only 4 books out. The 4th book is The Demon Tide. I rated that one 5 stars and put that in category 5. I was devastated that I don't have that next book. That's why when I saw that it's not shipping till February, I was like, what? And this time I was like, maybe after a really good fantasy book, I should just stay on the fantasy train. And I think that's what screwed me over for continuing with so much fantasy the rest of the year. In July, I then finished with The Cruel Prince and the Wicked King. I rated The Cruel Prince and the Wicked King both 4 stars and put them in my category 3 because I don't necessarily remember a crap ton about what happens in those ones, but I would 100% recommend this series, and I loved this series, and when I was reading it, I was devouring it. Definitely liked it a lot. But then The Queen of Nothing, the 3rd book in that series, I rated that one 5 stars, and I'm not in category 5 because I think that they ended that trilogy like beautiful. Beautiful. I definitely want to read more in that world. I don't think I've gotten my hands on any of them yet though. So then I ended on such a high note with that fantasy series that I was like, let's roll into another one. And I read the whole Mortal Instruments series. So the Mortal Instruments series is about a girl who is living in the human world and then finds out that she is actually a shadow hunter, which is a person who like defends humans from shadow realm things, so like such as like werewolves, vampires, all those things, right? When she finds out she's a shadow hunter, she's like, what the heck, how is that a thing? Because it's like your family, it's in your bloodline. And then she finds out like her whole past isn't what she thought it was, kind of goes into that world. This is another one, like I don't want to say too much. I feel like sometimes I just don't want to give you too much, you know? I don't want to ruin it for you because that is also a series I would recommend. It is YA. I felt like it definitely is YA, but it was good. In August, I read City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, and City of Lost Souls. City of Bones, I rated 4 stars. Category 3. City of Ashes, 4 stars. Category 3. City of Glass, 5 stars, category 4. That one, you find out some things that were just like, what? So yeah, that one was crazy. City of Fallen Angels, 4 stars, category 3. City of Lost Souls, 5 stars, category 3, and City of Heavenly Fire, 4 stars, category 3. And the only reason that they're not category 4 is because they are like very YA, so I feel like I love them, I would recommend them, but also there's just something about that, you know? September is when I read City of Heavenly Fire, so that started off my September. Then I moved into House of Salt and Sorrows. I went into that book without really understanding what I was getting myself into. I thought it was like a fairy fantasy, and it's definitely a lot more supernatural. It's kind of about like a curse, and there's like a ghost element, and you're following like a younger girl. I thought I was entering like a fantasy world, and it was not that. So I did rate it 3 stars, and I put that one in category 2, but I don't know if that's necessarily fair because I didn't really know what I was getting into. Maybe I would have liked it more if I did. Then I reread Kingmaker's Year 1 or The Heir. Like I have the older versions. Now it's being republished as Kingmaker's Year 1. I love that series. Love it so much. So I reread book 1. It's a 5-star read for me. Category 4. Possibly category 5, honestly. Definitely the 5th one in that series is a category 5 for me, but I only reread the first one. It was kind of like a little bit of a palate cleanser for me before I started the Plated Prisoner series. What I started October with, I read Gild, Glint, Gleam, and Glow all in October. Those are amazing books. That series is a King Midas like spin-off series, and one, I love mythology, so like the fact that that's what it was like a spin-off of, loved it. There were so many twists and turns, so much hot, spicy, amazing romance that has you kicking and giggling, and there are tears, and that all-time favorite series. Okay, all-time favorite series. If you're okay with darker themed things and you don't like just like frilly romances, or you're into like fantasy, read that series right freaking now. Right now. Please. It is so good. I am obsessed with it. Good books, okay? I finished that one in November. Guild and Glint, I both put them in category 4, but I did rate Guild 4 stars and Glint 5 stars. Gleam, I rated 5 stars and put that in category 5. Glow, 5 stars, category 4. Gold, 5 stars, category 5. And Goldfinch, 5 stars, category 5. Honestly, they should all probably be in category 5, but the major things I remember and think about every day are from the 3 that I did put in category 5. It's a beautiful book series. Okay, so please, for the love of God, go check it out. Okay, so that's all I read in November, and then December came and I started Zodiac Academy. So I read the first 5 book series of Zodiac Academy in December. And if you don't know what Zodiac Academy is, it's following twin girls who are human, who find out that they belong in a fae world, and they are taken to this university in this fae world, and they find out that they are of like a royal bloodline, and just like they're like, what the heck, because they lived in complete utter shit poverty in the mortal realm, and they're like, wait, hold on, what? This is like a found family romantasy. There are darker themes to that as well. It is very spicy in a few of the books, so take it for what it is. However, for me, The Awakening was a 3-star read. It was good. It was like the beginning of any fantasy series. I feel like I put that in category 3. Ruthless Fae is book 2. I rated that 4 stars and put that in category 3 as well. I do remember a lot, and I'm obviously thinking about these every day right now because I'm still reading the series, but I have a feeling as I move on from the series, that's not gonna like imprint my heart like that. And then book 3, The Reckoning, I rated 4 stars, category 3. However, book 4, I bumped up to category 4 because I rated that one 5 stars. That one was crazy, and like the twists and turns in that baby. What? Like what? So it got me. That one got me. And then book 5, Cursed Fates, is 4 stars, and I put that one in category 3. I am now on book 7 of Zodiac Academy. We're not going to talk about that yet because that was not in 2024. But I just want you to know I'm on book 7, or no, I'm on book 8 now, and I have to read book 8 and book 9, and these are long books before I can get to Fourth Wing. And Onyx Storm released tonight, and hopefully mine is going to be in the mail like ASAP. So your girl needs to get to some reading. And here we are yapping instead. Anyways, this past year I read the most books I have ever read in my life. And part of that was because I felt like I had more access to them. And part of that was just because I made it a super big priority to read. And I am so proud of reading all these books. I know some people read hundreds of books. I would love to read 100 books in a year, but being a mom of 2 and everything that I do in my day-to-day basis, I am so proud I read this many books. And I think my average pages according to Goodreads per book was 524, and I was like, to read this many books and it be that many pages be the average, I am so proud of myself. A big part of this is it really helped with my mental health, and book talk even more helped with my mental health. I have always wanted to be able to like yap about books, okay? But I have never had a family member or a friend that was like equally into reading as I was, that I could yap about books with. Book talk has like healed an inner child piece of me that I never knew needed healed, I guess. So I just want to bring that energy over here to YouTube as well this year and make this like a little space for us book girlies who also love fitness stuff. Thank you so much for sticking around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.